All right, so most of us, we know the story of Noah's Ark, right? The massive boat, all the animals, the giant flood. But have you ever stopped to think about what happened after all that, after the rain finally stopped? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. The incredible story from Genesis chapter 8. It's all about patience, hope, and a promise that literally changed everything.
So just try to picture this for a second. For 40 days and 40 nights, it was just chaos. And then silence. The rain is gone, the floodgates are shut. The only sound you can hear is the water just lapping against the side of the ark. The whole world is a quiet, endless ocean. The storm is over, for sure, but a whole new chapter, a really uncertain one, is just getting started.
And that brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Okay, they survived the end of the world as they knew it. Now what? How in the world do you start over from scratch? Well, the answer comes in stages. And believe me, it all starts with a lot of waiting. So let's get into it. Obviously, before anyone can even think about stepping onto dry land, all that water has to go somewhere, right? So this first part of the story, it's not some action-packed sequence. Nope. It's all about endurance. It's about God remembering Noah and starting this super slow, gradual process of the world basically, re-emerging from the depths. And get this, the water covered the earth for 150 days. Just let that sink in. 150 days. That's 5 whole months of just floating. And this is after the rain stopped. That's how long they waited before the water level even started to go down. This number really gives you a sense of the insane scale we're talking about and the kind of patience Noah and his family must have had. This whole waiting game happened in stages. First, you have this huge moment of relief when the ark finally comes to a stop on the mountains of Ararat. But then they have to wait almost another 3 months just to see the tops of other mountains peeking out. It's like the world is being unveiled super, super slowly. The whole process, from start to finish, takes nearly a full year. Incredible. Okay, so the mountaintops are visible. Time to get out, right? Nope. Noah waits another 40 days. He can't just look outside and see what's what, so he decides to send out some scouts to check things out. And his scouts, they weren't exactly people. And his choice of birds here is just so cool and symbolic. He starts with a raven. Think about it, a tough, rugged scavenger that can handle pretty much anything. The raven just flies back and forth, which kind of suggests it's just surviving out there. But then he sends a dove. A dove is different. It's looking for a place to rest, a home. So its behavior wouldn't just signal that you can survive, but that the world is actually livable again. This whole sequence with the dove is just brilliant storytelling. The first time he sends it out, it comes right back. Total failure. The world is still just water. So Noah waits 7 days, a really significant number, and tries again. The second flight, that's the turning point. But it's the third flight that gives him the final answer he needs. The dove goes out, and it doesn't return. And its absence, that's the best news he could have possibly gotten. It means it found a new home. It means there's a world out there to live in again. And what did it bring back on that second trip? A freshly plucked olive leaf. I mean, wow, this is the climax of all that waiting. The dove didn't just bring back some random dead twig, it brought back a freshly plucked leaf. This was the first real, tangible proof that life was back. It meant trees were growing, the planet was healing. That one little leaf represented so much hope. So, with that confirmation that the world is alive again, the story totally shifts. It goes from waiting to acting. But here's the thing. Noah doesn't just fling open the doors and yell, "Everybody out!" Nope, he waits. He waits for one last super important instruction. Even after Noah literally pulls back the cover of the ark and sees the dry ground with his own eyes, he still waits for the official word. And then it comes. God tells him it's time. This isn't just them walking out. You can think of it as a formal disembarkment. It's the official, sanctioned beginning for a whole new world of people and animals. And the command isn't just, okay, you can leave now. It's way more than that. It's basically a mission statement. The whole point of their survival was to get out there and fill the earth again. This is a blessing for sure, but it's also a mandate for life to absolutely flourish, setting the stage for, the future of the entire planet. All right, now we get to the final part of the chapter. And honestly, it might be the most profound. So what's the very first thing Noah does when he finally steps out onto this new, clean earth? This one act,
It really sets the tone for everything to come.
He doesn't build a house. He doesn't go looking for food or plant a field. His very first instinct is to build an altar and say thank you. I mean, after a full year stuck on that boat, surrounded by uncertainty, his first move is an act of pure worship and gratitude. And you know what? This single act of faith gets an incredible response.
So, in response to what the text calls the pleasing aroma of Noah's sacrifice, God makes this promise, this vow to himself. And this right here, this is the real heart of the chapter. It's a promise that no matter what, despite everything that's happened and what God knows about human nature, there will not be a repeat performance. This is a massive foundational shift in the whole relationship between God, people, and the planet itself. And the logic behind this promise is just so deep. It's made with the full understanding that humanity, well, we're still flawed. The text literally says the inclination of the human heart is evil from childhood. So the promise isn't based on us being perfect. It's an act of pure grace. It's a one-sided decision to give the world stability, even with all our imperfections. And this promise gets even more specific, which is amazing. It ends by establishing the basic rhythms of nature. Think about it. Seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night. It's a promise that the world is now going to be predictable and stable. The seasons will roll on, farming will be reliable, day will always follow night. Can you imagine? For people who just survived a world-ending catastrophe, that promise of just normalcy, that had to be the greatest comfort in the entire world. So when you look at the whole chapter, Genesis 8 is this really powerful journey. It takes us from a world totally wiped out by water, through this long period of patient waiting and testing for any sign of hope, all the way to a world that's reborn, and most importantly, secured by that divine promise. Never again. So in this story, the first steps to building the future were all about patience, looking for hope, showing gratitude, and then receiving this promise of a stable world. And it kind of leaves us with a question that still echoes today, doesn't it? When we face our own floods, whether they're big or small, what do we choose as our first act to build whatever comes next?